Hey, what's up, guys? You guys are about to listen to some cool stuff.
Some weird shit.
I didn't even know it existed, man. So this is smart, stupid stuff, and I'm here with Martina and Chuchi.
What's up, guys? Enjoy the show. Shout out to the listeners and sponsors. We don't really have any sponsors,
Alpaca.
but we're open for sponsorship. Corey Harpin.
Chicken around the
I bring
corner.
my own sponsors.
Check out Corey Harpin on YouTube. He's our number one listener. He listens to every one of our podcasts. He's been amazingly supportive. And he has a YouTube channel called Everyday Eternity. Check him out.
That's just not as good as ours.
It's pretty good.
Check it out.
Then we have a couple of friends of mine that are doing a podcast as well called Soul Therapy. Check him out if you are into shoes. Don't laugh. If you like shoes and you're into different types of sneakers and that type of thing, check them out. They have a pretty cool
So it's
podcast.
just sneakers?
Yeah, it's like
What
a
if I'm
social-
really into boots?
Yeah, we can, I don't know, maybe sandals as well. That could be cool
I need
too.
some soul therapy for boots.
And
We gotta get some.
all
redneck
you
boots.
stranglers that are listening out there too, we appreciate you. Check us out on Instagram. We have a page. It's called Smart Stupid Stuff 86. There's little dash. What do they call it? Underscores in between. So it's smart underscore stupid underscore stuff.
I mean, you created
86.
the title.
And but what is that? When you do a slash and it's lower, it's an underscore.
It's an
slash.
underscore, yeah.
Yeah, so check us out. And we're streaming this live, although our camera went down today, which is the only reason we don't have thousands of people watching us probably. But we are on the Twitch, Mosquito Ninja 7, twitch.tv
This
/Mosquito
is the
Ninja
largest
7.
introduction ever, man.
I know.
It's like 2 minutes.
This is great. All right, you guys
All right.
listen
Have
and,
fun, have
and you
fun.
like it. Bye-bye. I mean, listen, I was...
It's like a giant cock.
Welcome to Giant Cock Podcast. Just kidding. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
Sorry I said Giant Cock to start the podcast. Sometimes you just got to put it out there. See what happens. So what's good, guys? What's going on? How do you feeling today?
Hell of a day.
What do you feel about the impeachment? Let's just get right to it. We said we wanted to speak about something light, and this is what we're going to be talking about.
Here we go.
Here we go, huh? Lighthearted. I think it's too loud. Hold on, let me fix my mic. So yeah, I
was totally disconnected out of the news. So when did this happen?
So last night I got home around 6 or 7 p.m. and I was taking care of the baby, and all I know was my wife telling me, "Did you hear what happened?" Apparently, and I think Robert Tucci is going to help us understand this to the highest levels, because I'm pretty sure that you're pretty familiar with what's going on, right?
Yeah.
But all I know is that the President Trump went to the Ukraine.
Went to the Ukraine?
Oh,
or?
it wasn't. He didn't even go to the Ukraine.
No, it was a phone call.
It was a phone
so
call?
here's what happened.
Okay,
So, late last week,
get mic closer to you.
news broke that apparently a whistleblower within the government, and what a whistleblower is basically a government employee that blows the whistle on someone else in the government on any supposed wrongdoing that person is doing, right? So anyway,
This person is known or is not
completely secret. Like that's
Secret,
the
okay.
whole point, is like the identity of the person is supposed to be kept secret, so that way
Okay.
there's no reprisals and all that. Anyway, so there was this whistleblower complaint that Congress found out about from the director of national the acting director of national intelligence. And apparently what happened was because this dealt with national security, normally all whistleblower complaints are immediately supposed to go to Congress for them to like review and see what happened and all that. But in this circumstance, that did not happen because the whistleblower, it works within the national security apparatus, and the whistleblower complaint dealt with a national security matter. So it went to the inspector general for whichever agency, I think the National Security Agency. And the inspector general is basically like just a watchdog for that agency, right? To see if there's any wrongdoing and so forth. So the inspector general got the whistleblower complaint and then went to the Department of Justice, which is basically an agency full of lawyers, right? And said, hey, I'm about to give this to Congress. Just wanted to let y'all know. And then the Department of Justice said, wait a second. Do not give that to Congress because there's nothing illegal happened. Right? So Congress actually did not get the whistleblower complaint. And by law, they are required to get the whistleblower complaint. So the Trump administration withheld the whistleblower complaint from Congress. And so that's kind of what started the whole, like, what happened type thing, right? Because obviously if they're not handing it over to Congress, it has to be pretty damning, right?
Wait, so the Trump, but I thought you said it was just the leader of the...
I'm about to get to that. So this is what set off the firestorm. This was late last week, okay? And barely anyone was talking about it because no one really knew what was going on. Well, fast forward till this weekend, and news broke that more details about the whistleblower complaint were leaked. So apparently what happened was President Trump, the day after Robert Mueller, who was the special counsel on the Russia investigation, the day after Robert Mueller gave his testimony to Congress in July, which was obviously a disaster because Robert Mueller just seemed kind of like not really with all of his wits about him, you know, kind of seemed like kind of slow and didn't really remember a whole lot. So it didn't look too good for him. So I think President Trump was kind of emboldened by that, right? Like, oh, I'm vindicated now. Like, I can do whatever I want. So the very next day, this was in July, he calls the president of the Ukraine, which is a country right next to Russia, and says, and for some background, the Ukraine is a country that really depends a lot on the aid that it gets from the United States because of their conflict with Russia. So we give them a whole bunch of military aid and money to aid them in that cause. So that's an important point, because when President Trump called him the next day, they really started their conversation, Trump did, by saying, hey, you remember all that money we give you and all of that military aid? Well, I have a favor to ask. And then he goes into, I want you to open an investigation into Joe Biden's son. And so background with that is apparently Joe Biden's son invested in a company in the Ukraine a couple years ago. And this company had a history of like corruption or something. But apparently they had cleared their act up by the time Joe Biden's son came in. And there's no evidence whatsoever to like demonstrate any wrongdoing on the part of Joe Biden's son, right? And then there's a separate incident with Joe Biden himself where Joe Biden, apparently, this is what the Republicans are saying, directed aid to be withheld from the Ukraine because they wanted to fire this particular prosecutor in the Ukraine who apparently was like very corrupt and just wouldn't investigate a lot of corrupt people and all that. So
that did happen.
Well, that particular incident did happen, but apparently Joe Biden had nothing to do with it. Like, this was in the Obama administration, and there wasn't even any wrongdoing with it. because everyone in the international community, Germany, France, whoever, wanted this particular prosecutor in Ukraine to be fired. So, I mean, I'm still like really confused of what the Republicans are asserting here, because there's nothing that really seems wrong with that, you know? Like it's our aid, so we can withhold it if we want to. If we want to fire a corrupt prosecutor, fine.
Well, so they're gonna try to defend
Well,
what happens, and now that is one of the things. So the reason he wanted them investigated is because they did some wrongdoing. So that's the whole point,
Yeah.
right?
I like how he sounds when he calls and he's like, "Do you know how we help you out? Do you know all the stuff that we like?" If he actually, I'm pretty sure he wasn't the one probably starting a contract with Ukraine.
No.
I'm pretty
take
sure this
advantage of
becomes like years back,
Oh,
the
yeah.
U.S. providing for this country, and I like how he makes it sound like, okay, I've been helping you out so much that you gotta help me out back now. And the people talking on the other side of the phone, I'm pretty sure they're like, okay, I
Is that
guess.
really happening?
So there's another piece to the puzzle, though. So that call happens, right? Well, apparently a couple days before the call happened, President Trump directed that all aid to the Ukraine be stopped immediately. So then he calls the leader of Ukraine, and his name is Vladimir Zelensky. You know, some really impossible name. And then he says all that, remember all this aid we give you? Well, I have a favor. And the aid does not resume until accusations and information about this whistleblower come out. And then immediately it comes back, the aid is reinstated.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
fast forward to, today, and Trump released a supposed, they call it a rough transcript of the call, right? Which basically means that there were some members of the intelligence community that were listening in on the call, and they recorded down what they remember from the call. And pretty much the way I just described it is exactly how that rough transcript depicts it. And this was released by the White House. So,
Well, you have to, like, I don't know, the way that he talks and the way he just manages himself is totally unpolitical. It's not correct, like political correct.
Yeah.
He's just a businessman just talking about he just wants to get something. And I'm pretty sure when you have a company, that's probably the way you talk. Like, let's say you have a contractor. Hey, look, if you want me to keep providing jobs for you, this is what you got to do for me. And I'm pretty sure he probably did that a million times. But now he's being the president. He's like, shit, I got it. Like,
Well,
I don't know if he has.
And
like,
that's what has always blown my mind, because everybody always says, the people who like him, they say, well, he's been a successful businessman. He's been a successful, entrepreneur and investor, but that's not the way a democracy works. In a corporation, if I am the CEO and I want something to happen, I don't have to ask for permission. I make it happen. I might have to answer some board members. So that's not a good example. That's not necessarily what you're looking for on a leader. Somebody
on a
that's been
president.
on a president.
But you say it's dramatic. The Democrata.
Democratic.
Okay, so everybody can vote and everybody can choose who their president want to be. So this is what the United States have choose to be their president.
Which is shocking. That this is what the United States would choose to be the president.
well, and that's a separate issue. I mean, because, like, obviously he didn't win the popular vote. He only won the presidency by winning the Electoral College. That's a whole different issue. But what happened last night was Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, came out and said, guys, this is shocking. We're opening impeachment investigation immediately.
That was the Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think is really going to happen? Do you really think they're going to take him out, or he's just going to? How many more years he got? Like a year?
He doesn't even have that much longer.
He has about a year.
A year.
Here's what the first thing I thought was when Stacey told me, is like, oh man, if they impeach him, all the psycho people Let me rephrase that. All the people that like him are
You just made it worse, man.
are going to feel validated to the point that, oh man, they fucked him. They took him out. Those motherfuckers took him out. I almost want him to be done organically, like I said earlier. Like I don't want him to be taken out by impeachment because he's created a fan base that doesn't matter what he does, they back him up. So they're gonna think that
Because he's the president, though.
no, but
So they try to protect.
There's been political things, the political figures in the past that they do one thing wrong. I mean, look at what happened with Clinton. Clinton, he got his dick sucked, and that was huge. This dude has come out to fuck a porn star. He's come out to audio of him saying grab him by the pussy. He's come out with name it. He's done it, and somehow his followers say it's comments. Fine. Yeah, racist comment.
What really concerns me about this, though, is he's asking a foreign country to give him dirt on his political opponent.
So that's the big. When I first heard about it, I didn't understand it, but I guess it's big because you're contacting. You potentially get the man killed, or something like that is huge, right?
Well, here's my question though: if this were a Democrat, if this were Hillary Clinton, or if this were Bill Clinton, and they went to, let's just say, Germany or France to get dirt on Donald Trump, they would be out of a job tomorrow. There would be so much uproar that there wouldn't even be an impeachment investigation. They'd be forced to resign.
Well, that was another thing I heard. So, back when Trump was
what do you think that? Do you think, what do you think Trump administration is way more powerful than Hillary? Like, if Hillary was in his position?
I think he's more powerful by virtue of the other Republicans that are protecting him.
Okay.
Oh no! Hold on.
Are we not?
No, we are. We're live. Never mind. Sorry.
You're good. So, I mean, in that situation, they're putting their party before the country. That's what I have an issue with.
Wait, what? Say that again?
The Republicans, they're putting their party before the country.
Well, and I don't think they think that way. I don't think anybody out there is making a conscious decision saying, I know this is wrong for the country, but I want my party to win. I don't think that's the case.
Okay,
I think they truly believe that.
You don't think Mitch McConnell thinks so?
Well, yeah, people at top, but I think the average American that is making this happen, because those guys, they can only manipulate it to a certain level, but the average American that is a Trump supporter is typically a blue collar.
I'm not saying,
but that is what really matters.
I'm not saying voters. I'm saying Republican politicians.
Oh yeah, but that's a whole. The Democrat politicians could be just as bad because they're playing the game so hard. You know.
Okay, then what do you think if they impeach him? They put the vice president will go aboard.
Oh damn, that guy's worse.
So the vice president will just go on board. Do you think this would affect the economy of the United States, like somehow? Because other countries won't. Okay, look to what just happened with the president. So many people are investing, investor from China, investor from Russia, from all the other parts of the world investing here in the U.S. And this is just happened. A bunch of money might just come out of the United States by just this information, they're going to impeach him. Who's going to be the president now? Because they have, I don't know, but many people, they start building more. I don't know. When Trump walked in, there was a lot of investors that came in here and started investing money because they thought they were going to be able to get away with so much more stuff that would probably with other president they might not be able to get away with. So there is a lot of money that by just Trump being there is a lot of money is being put here. If he get kicked out, I think we might go into, I don't know, the economy might go low.
Well, I mean, that's a good point. I think, but I would push back on that a little bit and just say, where have they been investing money? Right? I haven't seen any of it.
Well, I agree with Elias, not necessarily in the same perspective, but yes, if an impeachment happens, it's going to cause major turmoil. So what I'm saying is The supporters are gonna feel like they got fucked. It's just gonna be major instability in the country, right? And what I'm thinking is, at this point, why he's almost
well,
I think
Yeah,
this
just
is,
wait a
this is a
year and
strategy.
it's just gonna be gone.
I think the concern is that this is a national security concern, right? Because the president is actively, basically putting himself in a position where he's asking foreign countries for aid to aid him in his election. And that kind of, I mean, that's like where if they give him something, they're going to expect something in return, right? So like he's putting his interest before the country's. And any exchange there is obviously not going to benefit the United States. It's going to benefit Donald Trump.
I've always felt like that, dude. The entire thing is a big scam to benefit.
Yeah. Well, I really think it's stupid when people think like, oh, I gotta, I don't know, whenever he says, I gotta make America great again. But whatever businessman you talk to, they always focus on themselves. Like, I'm gonna make myself even richer than what I already are. And it's about a lot of greedy. When you see a businessman like that, it's a lot of greedy. They have a lot because they probably have took a lot from other people too. So sometimes, like, okay, it's stupid if you really think that he's gonna make this country great again, and he wants to give more than what other presidents have give before, you know. And I think it's just about more, you know, it's for his, I guess, legacy, for his name. Man, Donald Trump was never like, I heard like most of the presidents, it's like almost 3 presidents, they're not family connected, related, or something like that. Okay, Trump was totally out of, like, I don't know where fucking Trump comes from, you know, from another country. Like most of the presidents, they come from U.S. land, so that means they look for the best, I guess, for this land. Then for somebody like whose parents were born somewhere else, he was born here, but at the same time he comes, like, his roots are not from here. So I think he, like, whatever he does is gonna be for his benefits and not for the benefit of the people, you know.
No, I agree with that. I feel like that's something that's, but one thing that you said is that's why he got elected, is because it's different and people are so frustrated with the current system, and that's the only reason he even got elected, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you got to give it to the guy. He's really good at marketing himself. He's really good at manipulating the system. Really good at diverting attention. What the fuck did you do to that?
I don't know. It just broke, man.
Oh my god.
The studio here is falling apart.
Yeah, the mic is falling in pieces over here. We had it set up. Yeah, so do you think so? Do you know exactly the process of impeachment?
I do.
What is it?
So, all right, the House will obviously conduct their impeachment inquiry, whatever that means. It's different depending on the House, right? So Pelosi wants individual committees within the House of Representatives to conduct this inquiry. At other times, such as, I believe, Nixon, they had a special committee, one single committee that investigated the impeachment. But anyway, eventually what will happen is it'll come before the full House to vote on. And it only requires a simple majority. And they'll vote on the articles of impeachment. And at that point, if it passes the House, then that just means that the president has been impeached, but he has not been removed from office, right? It has to go to the Senate, and the Senate will conduct a trial. The Senate has 100 senators right now, and 2/3 of the Senate has to vote to convict the president, which is very hard to see that happening now because the Republicans currently control the Senate. So, you know, I just don't see 66 senators voting to convict Trump without more, I would say, I don't want to say damning evidence, because everything that's already come out is pretty damning. But
would this conduct jail time for Trump?
We can't
No.
hear you.
No. Okay.
it would just remove him from office.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. That's fine, man.
Oh, There you go. Sorry, we're having
Sorry, we're trying to fix the mics
technical
right
difficulties over here.
Yeah. So I got this friend. My brother traveled to China like 2 months ago, and well, my brother went to Argentina. He sets up soccer games, and so he met this guy. He's a Chinese guy. He's an investor too. He like puts together games, soccer games, and so let's say that he gets Argentina versus Mexico, and somebody pays for Argentina, another guy pays for Mexico, and so this is how he met this guy. So this guy traveled back to China. My brother is like, "Hey, I gotta go to China," and this guy is like, "Oh, come over." So he comes over here. He actually stayed at my place. So he comes over here to invest money, and the politics. Oh, he's like, look, the politics in China are very strict. If you steal money from the government, if they catch you on something, it's death penalty.
Death penalty?
If you steal a lot of money, they will actually kill you.
Well,
Damn.
but so China's a single party state, right? It's a communist nation. Political dissent is not allowed. Period. You cannot speak out against the government.
Oh.
And so like Xi Jinping, which is the current president of China, he actually came into office, I think, like 8 or so years ago. But a couple of years ago, he changed the Chinese constitution himself, basically, to allow him to stay in office in perpetuity forever.
Wow.
Was he able to do it? You said he changed it?
Oh, yeah.
He did.
He changed it. Yeah, the Communist Party voted it, I think, unanimously.
Yeah.
So what is better? I mean, so in a way, I mean, I like the idea of, okay, so there's a check and balances. There's a bias to everything we do. And then it's good to have another point of view. But what is happening with Trump is different. It's not anything.
Boy,
it's
if
just,
you betray your country, like, what
it's
are you...
just a dude
like,
trying
that's
to get...
definitely death penalty if you were in China. Like, imagine betraying your country. Like, you go to another country, asking for help and kind of like treating
they'll
them.
fucking murder his ass.
Do you think that's right? That's totally like wrong. So if he wouldn't know this, like, then somebody wouldn't not do it, you know. So I'm pretty sure the politics in China, they were like, shit, this is how much I get paid for. This is what I'm going to take home. I'm not going to try to do nothing stupid, because if they catch me doing something stupid, then they're going to cut me, like, and they're going to literally kill me. You know, so when you have that stage of mind saying, like, if I do something wrong, if I try to steal from the country, if I try to do something like this, then they're going to kill me, then you're going to think before you actually speak, and you're going to actually think before you actually do something like this. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm going to call him like 10 at night, what I feel like doing. Let me call this guy so he can investigate this guy.
Well, that's exactly
you got to think about that maybe a couple more times before you actually do something stupid like that.
That's what Tucci was saying, because he had just gotten out of that hearing where he kind of got away with it. Because he was accused of cahooning with the Russians about something, which it was very likely that he did, in my opinion. He was, when he got elected, I don't know the story, but when he got elected, there was something to do with the Russians. He got investigated, and it came out that, hey, you're good.
It wasn't that he was good. It's that it's kind of complicated. So Robert Mueller decided not to give an opinion on whether he broke the law or not, because apparently there's a Department of Justice policy on the books that says a sitting president cannot be indicted for a crime. So that's why he did not make a recommendation. But in his, I think, 400 or 500 page report, he laid out a case to Congress for impeachment. I mean, that's essentially what he did. He said, guys, I can't do this. You have to be the one to do it. And, people's attention spans,
yeah, you forget
they're not that great, right? So you're not going to read a 500-page report, right?
So he left that meeting, or he heard that, and he immediately got in the phone with the Ukraine, and is feeling on top of the world. No consequences, like you're saying. He didn't get killed. He didn't even get in trouble. He's like, well, you know what? Let me go Like, he just feels on top of the world. So what you're saying is kind of goes with that. Like, he doesn't have any consequences if he just did that.
Yep.
Or that's, at least a theory. We don't know. Maybe he didn't do it, man.
No, he did. I mean, they released a transcript.
Well, let's talk about how he didn't do it. Let's try to theorize how this could have happened. Maybe he was an impressionist.
But Donald Trump himself released the transcript.
Oh.
You can't make this shit up. I mean,
yeah.
And he's over here saying, "Oh, it completely exonerates me. It's a witch hunt." Well, read the transcript. I'm not even kidding. On the first line of one of the paragraphs, it says, "I need some help." You know? No. It says, "I need you to do me a favor."
I'm trying to understand why he did that. Like, why would you? He's already the president. He doesn't like Biden. Here's what he's such a crazy person. He's like, he really honestly thought that they've done something wrong. These people have done something wrong, and he honestly wanted to.
He probably didn't even think that he was doing something wrong. He just did it because that's how he is. He's just
impulsive.
Yeah, just. I don't think so. He thought about it. Like when you're the I guess they listen to every single thing that you said when you're the president.
Oh yeah.
Every single conversation. I guess you talk to everything is.
Well, you're
recorded.
talking to the president of the fucking Ukraine. You're here.
So imagine being 4 years or 3 years now with a guy that never been in politics before. He doesn't know much about the law. I'm pretty sure he just knows about how to make money. He doesn't know much
ask
about
for help because
he's not even. He's not even a lawyer. I guess most of the presidents were like at least an attorney, or they've been through like a background.
There's some that, like Ronald Reagan was an actor, but yeah.
Okay, but that's like 1 out of 55.
Right.
Yeah. This guy is like nothing, but I'm pretty sure he was more respectful, I guess. But he was like more political correct when it was time to be the president.
Who are you talking
about? The one you just mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Reagan compared to Trump is...
Reagan is like the Republicans' hero.
Yeah.
But at least he was like, no offense, sane.
He was sane.
Like he could form coherent sentences on a regular basis, you know. But, you know, I'm just... Look, have you seen this guy talk on
the biggest thing
live television?
With Trump is that you see him on Twitter just tweeting away some crazy shit. Then he'll say one thing and then be like, "Nope, never mind. I meant something else." There was one time where he said, "I meant can't, not can." Like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, honestly, like, how stupid do you think we are? And how stupid are his followers that they believe that? Or, I mean...
Well, you don't have to, like, they don't care.
They don't care, right? That's not important. They don't understand. And that's the other thing, like...
Right? I don't know. What do you think about the economy of the U.S. right now? Is it good? Is it bad?
But it's not because of him.
I know, but most of the people cares about what I'm living right now. If I'm good, if I have a job right now.
But the economy is not an instant reaction. A lot of the things that are good now is because of what happened with Obama.
I know, but do you think people actually think that? They just... No. Right now, things are great, and the president is Trump.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Trump.
You're right.
You know?
You're right. You're right. But there are a lot of good things about the economy right now. There's also a lot of troubling things about the economy, right? So, like, the stock market's great. I mean, there's, like, ups and downs, of course, but for the most part, it's gained a lot of ground. I mean, does that help us? No. I'm not an investor. Are you all an investor?
But I want the market to do well.
Is the average American investing in the stock market besides their 401k? No, right? So it's helping the very rich that the stock market is doing well. Now, also the housing market, right? It's like, I mean, especially the Raleigh area, as we all know, it's like booming. Like the housing prices are just increasing dramatically. In other parts of the country, that's not the same, but for the most part, it's pretty much. But what is troubling, though, is that in the manufacturing sector, there's starting to be a huge slowdown.
Yeah, I heard.
And it's like having ripple effects throughout the economy. For example, there was this so-called negative yield, which is, you know, it's complicated economic stuff, but it basically like where the U.S. Treasury... So whenever investors fear the future, they typically go to like safe areas like gold or treasury bonds, which are government maintains, basically like money in the future type thing. So the yield curve got inverted for that, which is where, you know, the bond yield is higher than like all other economic indicia or whatever it is. So that only happens right before a recession, and that happened about a month ago.
Oh, great!
So whoever is going to be the next president is going to take so much shit for whatever Trump did this month, man.
Hey, man, you're fucking freaking me out, bro.
But I mean, that's not like guaranteed that there's going to be a recession, right? It's just like
whenever the apocalypse happened last time, that happened last month.
But typically that's what happens before a recession. We don't know that there's going to be a recession, of course, but
yeah.
Well,
if it happens, like they got to blame whoever is the president then. You know, if it's a recession.
An impeachment happening right now is only good for the next elections, because I can imagine that the process of impeachment is long enough to take at least a fucking year, right? And I can imagine that the turmoil from it is just going to be bad, but what it could affect is the next elections, because it's going to expose a lot of shit about Trump. It's not going to be good. Ideally, he'll lose some supporters, or it could strengthen his crazy supporters, thinking, look how he's getting fucked. And if he does not get impeached, he could get reelected because of this.
So let me ask you both a question. So, I mean, y'all see people going around with this "Make America Great Again" hat, like, and just like complete Trump supporter. Like,
you don't have one?
No, do what?
You don't have one?
Oh, it's at home, man. I left it at home.
Of course.
But like nothing can change their mind, right?
There's nothing you can say now.
What do you think can change their mind?
Nothing.
And it's got to be very hard to change their mind. Like, if, let's say, Trump finished his administration, everything during these 4 years, the economy's been good.
All you can do
So how can you talk shit about somebody where, the economy was good? We tried to start protecting our borders. He started building the wall. That's what he said he wasn't going to do. At least he started. Hopefully the next president can finish it. You know?
I think that the only thing you can hope for is for him to get, what I want him to do is get out of office and just cause the least amount of turmoil as possible. Like, you know, he just kind of like, yeah, they're going to be pissed. They're going to hate it. But just sort of like a normal exit, you know, so that they can accept it.
Is that possible with him?
Well, at least, you know, if the next president is elected.
Who's going to be the next president? Like, who are two big candidates?
Oh, the Democrats have like a shit ton, dude. Like,
I know, but who do you think is going to be the main one? Because it's like a year away, and I haven't seen no one strong enough to beat Trump again, I guess.
Bernie Sanders is going to be out there.
He's going to die probably tomorrow. That guy's so old, man.
Well, so right now,
Andrew Yang.
Well, national polls.
A Chinese guy. He's going to be the president.
Not Chinese, you racist.
He's fucking Chinese, man.
He's
definitely not going to be the guy, man.
So national polls have Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren tied, basically.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. I like them both.
Elizabeth Warren. Is that the one that Trump calls Pocahontas?
Right.
Bro, I can tell you none of those are gonna get. Like, you're too disconnected with pop culture. Those candidates have no fucking chance, bro.
All right, so I had the same concerns about Elizabeth Warren that you currently have about the Pocahontas thing. You know, she giving in to Donald Trump's traps and all that. I do think, though, she's a fighter, right? If you watch some of her rallies, she has that energy. I mean, she's...
Dude,
just give her a chance.
I'm thinking I'm afraid this is going to be a repeat of 4 years ago, man. Like, you can't be a normal person. It has to be some crazy shit, dude.
Do me a favor.
It has to be Bernie. It has to be Andrew.
Bernie's going to do some crazy shit?
Bernie's very alternative, man. He's very drastic. That's what people want.
But you know what's been happening is a lot of Bernie supporters have been bleeding off to Elizabeth Warren.
Okay.
So just watch some of her stuff.
What about the Hawaiian candidate? The Hawaiian
Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard. What about Tulsi Gabbard? What about her? She's not gonna make it.
Tulsi's a weird person. I'll be honest with you, because she, like for instance, this whole impeachment thing. She is one of like maybe 10 Democrats to say no. Now is not the time for impeachment, which really confuses me because
What's the reason? Because I'm saying now it's not the time for impeachment. Not because I don't think it should happen. I just think it's going to cause more issues than it won't.
That's fine for a private citizen to say, but for someone in the House, you know, where they're supposed to be united, for her to like dissent from the Democrats there, it's like.
So what's her reason? Did she give an explanation? Do you know?
Just that it would divide the country more.
Well, that's exactly what I'm fucking saying.
I can't imagine the country being more divided.
Bro, if they take Trump out of office, as much as I want him out of office, if they take him out like this, it's going to be fucking nuts, man. Think about all the people that love Trump. They're going to feel so validated to just act the fuck out.
But what do you think is going to happen when he loses an election?
But it's going to be like it just lost an election fair and square, where this is going to feel like he got fucked. He got done wrong. He got set up. He got all... Dude, I'm telling you.
Okay. November of next year rolls around, right? The election results come in. He's lost. What do you think he's going to say?
Yeah, but it's going to feel like the difference of losing a football game versus losing a football game when like 2 people got expelled of the game, like for red cards.
No, I think that everything's going to be just go... Like, he's... You know, like nothing bad is going to happen if he loses. But I don't know if he's going to lose. If he's going to lose. The question is like, if he's going to lose, like, are these other parties that strong, or these candidates are that strong that they're going to beat Trump? I don't like Trump, but imagine if... like, what's going to happen?
I'm afraid of the Democratic Party getting too many candidates like last year, picking the one that they feel like is sensitive, like what they did with Hillary Clinton, which had no fucking chance. They felt like that was the... And it wasn't even the Democratic people. I feel like it was all done before that. Well, like they pick a favor and then they push it, they shove it down your throat.
But Hillary Clinton did have a chance. I mean, she won the popular vote by 3 percentage points. That's massive, right? Very few presidents in the history of the nation have won by that margin, right? The difference is Trump won states, very small states, up, you know, in the Midwest, Minnesota, and well, maybe not Minnesota, but Wisconsin and Ohio and Pennsylvania, right? And he got all those electoral votes, and that pushed him over the threshold. And the only thing that matters in the United States, your vote doesn't matter, your vote doesn't matter, my vote doesn't matter.
Don't say that, man. Nobody's going to vote now.
Okay, it matters in the aggregate, but I'm saying like individually, it doesn't matter, right? No. Because the only thing that matters to elect a president is the electoral votes of each state. That's it.
I think it would be good if he gets impeachment, like even though if it's going to take long or whatever, because that's not going to give him the chance to go to get reelected, right? Because he has a chance, if nothing happens, he's going to get reelected probably. Because most of the presidents have been president for 2 years. Obama was president for two terms. Bush was two terms. And most of the people think it's like, okay, 4 years is not enough to make a change. Let's give this guy 8 years. So that's how many people think.
Give him 8 years to fuck it all up. Hey, so you know what's funny? I don't even know who's a Republican candidate. Like, if it's not Trump, who would it be?
So really generally what happens is if there's an incumbent president, they're not going to run against an incumbent president, right? And their own party.
Oh, they don't?
But there are challengers to Donald Trump. But you know what they're doing? They're canceling the primaries.
What?
So like the primary system is how a party selects its nominee.
Yeah,
right?
I knew that.
So like for example, South Carolina came out a couple days ago and said, no, we're not holding a primary for the Republican nomination. We don't need one. Donald Trump's our guy. So that just goes to show you the level of control that Donald Trump has over the Republican Party.
Yeah, because if the Republican Party wanted to change it, if the Republican populace wanted to change it, they're not even giving him a chance.
Mm-mm.
That's fucking nuts, dude. That's insane, man.
We're gonna find out in 1 year what's gonna happen.
Dude, I'm scared a little bit.
The way I see it, like, to tell you the truth, my parents survived in Argentina.
You're right.
My parents are gonna survive here, and wherever we are, we're gonna survive, and everything's gonna be fine.
So what happened in Argentina?
Well, it got to a point, where the economy just went bad. It was like super bad. So let's say all the people, they had, like, the dollar used to be like $1, 1 peso. This is happening back in 2000. So all the people, they have $100,000 in their bank. They would thought they had $100,000. So from one day to another, the market just went to, like, down. So whoever had $100,000 now has 100,000 pesos that only worth $1,000. So everybody tried to go to the banks and try to get their money or save their money. Nobody could save their money, so all the people went to the streets. Then many people lost their jobs, and everything was just chaos.
Wow.
That happened in 2001, and since then, the Argentina has been just very slow in their economy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so my parents were like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Let's get the fuck out of here. And I'm gonna keep
I
everything.
would be too.
And I'm keeping everything cash.
Imagine that, like, you have your dollars saved on your bank account. So let's say you have $100,000 or whatever. And then the dollars goes down, and then the yuan, like Chinese money, goes up, or I don't know, Russian money goes up, and the dollar doesn't worth absolutely anything. And you are like, shit, I need to go to another country to get other money.
Dang.
Because the economy here is so bad.
Hey, but if you had it in cash, it would make a difference, right? If you had the cold card,
no,
right?
but if you have pesos and you didn't have the actually green dollars, and you have pesos, then it's the same thing.
It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because I thought that a lot of people who had it in cash, it would make a difference. You had to have like either gold or the actual dollar bills.
I don't know. But it was a time where the second country with most dollars beside the U.S. was the Argentina.
Oh, snap.
But nobody sees where the dollars were at. So the government stealing all this money, you know.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's crazy.
So they should definitely death penalty for Argentina political parties. Yeah, definitely.
So
it's gonna be like a dead blow.
I remember like in Colombia about that, and like we used to be in high school, would make fun of Argentinian people and say that they were eating their horses and shit.
Eating their horses.
So yeah, that people don't care. Like, oh yeah, Argentinian people are eating horses over.
Yeah, they don't see they only see the outside picture, but they don't see how much it affects the people. Like,
so, yeah,
you know, their kids like not eating. Like, it's just more than having a, you know, bad economy. So like having not enough food for their kids. No.
That people are starving.
Yeah, it's sad.
But Argentina's good now, right?
Well, it's doing better, but
I want to go visit Argentina.
Yeah, it would be good to visit.
I heard
I like the U.S. better though.
It's like Italy of the South.
Kind of similar.
They said that Argentina.
Yeah, they take naps. I don't know if
they what?
They take naps.
Oh, they
like
do?
Everything kind of closes from 1 to
siesta?
5. Yeah, siesta. So
that's where all the Nazis went too, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of Argentinians are very racist too, man.
Are they?
Yeah, man. You know, it was a time where, like, it was very hard to see a black person in Argentina. Like, I never saw a black person in Argentina since I was little. The darker it gets is probably my color.
Wow.
So
they're just not black people over there.
There's no black people, and I was watching this video. And I was like, what? There is no.
Are there like native people, like
Indians,
like Aztecs or?
Yeah. Yeah, but not in the capital. Like, they will be like. Let's say the capital is Washington, so they will be in California.
Gotcha.
Like, far away. Yeah. So there was a time where in Argentina where I don't know why, but they kill every single black person that used to live in Argentina. I guess that's where you're talking about, you know, the Nazis went to Argentina. They probably were the ones making this damage to the
I know
nation, because it was a time where there's actually a book that talks about why there is no black people in Argentina.
there are to this day in Argentina and Chile, there are fully German towns. And there's a lot of Nazi culture to that. Yeah, the Nazis used to have a lot of people go there. There to this day that there's like, they only speak German and it's mostly Germans or German descent. But it's not advertised as Nazi towns, but it's also kind of known that that's who there were.
And there's like Nazi hunters, like Israelites and all that go and hunt down these Germans.
Really?
Yeah.
I have no fucking idea. That's crazy.
I haven't heard about that.
Yeah,
that would be a cool job.
Wouldn't it? I mean, I always thought it'd be pretty interesting, fulfilling too, if you ever catch one.
Yeah. Well, you look at it. Oh, it's so fucked up. But you're talking about Jewish people doing this. Like they were the one getting killed, and they're the one. So it's like for me to do it, it's like, what you even do? They never went after you.
Yeah.
But even though the things that they were checking, like in order for you to not get killed or not get killed, it was a book where they check your nose and they check your face, and they used to check all these things like to see if you're gonna be, either alive or dead. So they used to check your nose. They used to check absolutely everything. Like, so it wasn't just Jewish. It was just a race thing.
Nobody would have made it.
No, I don't think so. Like many people wouldn't have made it. Yeah.
Well, that's the funny thing about like race. Like, dude, in Colombia, I was, there's very monoculture. Like, there's only like, there's black people and then there's white people. But over here, it just starts even getting more dissected. I feel like, oh, you're Italian, or like, oh, you're this or you're that. Like, I see some people like, what's his name? The guy that's what? The guy that's in the movies, he looks to me like he's Arab. Like when I first saw him, no, fuck, dude, the guy that's in Ocean's 11. Damn, he's really famous. I can't think of his name. But anyways, there's people.
De Niro. Robert De Niro.
No, Ocean's 11. What's his name?
It's not John Travolta. It's
what's his fucking name, dude?
I know who you're talking about though.
He played Batman, I think.
Yeah. I know exactly.
He was in that Doctors thing.
Yeah.
He, to me, looks Arabic, or he doesn't look white to me, but he is accepted as white.
Yeah.
Which it's weird to me. Like, it's almost like it's an illusion. Like, race is almost like, if everybody was white, if everybody was exactly the same, then we'll start looking at other things like, oh, this guy has feet, like his feet are not this size, or they're this shape. Like, we as humans would find a way to differentiate people. You see what I'm saying? Like, if we all look like you, then we start looking at other things to try to like make sense. Oh, he has a peach. His voice is a different peach. So then
no, it was about making the perfect race. Okay, like
no, but let's say that they did. They finally got to that. Okay, so they killed everybody else and they got the perfect race. Within that race, I think it's human nature to then start finding other differences.
You hair is not as blonde as
like you're like a little bit not as blonde as me, so and then they'll kill all those people. It's a weird thing that it's non-existent. It's just like, I hope to get to the point that everything blends, but even
I
then,
think in 200 years, like there's not gonna be no race. Like I heard that.
What?
Like everything's gonna be mixed. It's gonna be only one race.
But then there'll be differences of others.
Yeah, difference like bigger nose or bigger feet or whatever. But it will be just one color.
You don't think there'll still be like black people and white
Maybe
people?
It's gonna be very rare to find like someone, very white and blonde. I don't know. That's what I saw that in Discovery Channel. So it's very the source is very.
I mean, I can see that though, like because like obviously interracial marriage is like not frowned upon anymore, right? At least to the majority of Americans. I don't know about like on a worldwide basis, because like China and Japan, for example, are very homogenous, countries.
Yeah. That's true, man. Asian people, they don't like to mix like that.
Yeah.
I used to live with a Korean guy, and
Well, you're talking about 200. What's going to happen in the next 100 years? Like, is it China going to be there?
Yeah, it'll be there.
Like, is the U.S.?
Bro, I'm afraid that we're gonna fucking.
I don't know. Like,
the minute they throw a nuclear bomb, we're all fucking dead, man.
Well, the next war, they say, if there is another war, world war.
You know, I feel bad about bringing. I thought about bringing a daughter to this world, and like, what the fuck is happening? Like the whole thing with global warming. All right, so a lot of people think it's not true. It's probably fucking true, guys. There's a lot of scientists that think it is changing, and we're not gonna stop fucking driving cars anytime soon. I'm a huge believer of global warming, and I'm still driving a car to work every day.
Well,
and I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
take the bus.
Like, believe it or don't believe it. Like,
It's
people, it's bullshit. I still go and get in my fucking Camry. I'm sorry, Corolla S.
Yeah, he's not that rich, guys.
I got a Corolla S. Stands for Super Sport. But I get in my Corolla
That means
S,
it has 90 horsepower and
I drive
80.
to work. And like, I am like all this shit, like, oh, global warming, this. And you know what? I go to Walmart and I take the plastic bags. And I don't believe in a global war. And I do believe in global warming.
But you do recycle. I see you at your place.
I try to recycle. But there's so many things that I do.
Well, you do something that's helping a lot.
I want to get a Tesla, first off.
And do you think those batteries are environment
Well, that's
good?
the other thing. It's like almost impossible to be completely environmentally friendly.
Like, I think one little battery, like a watch battery, like those little tiny ones, I don't know how much water would they contaminate if you've been touched by water.
Yeah, I'm sure. So it makes
like
me
those
think
little tiny, imagine having a whole car and it's a battery.
I saw something about lithium, like the lithium factories that they're in Afghanistan, just to be able to create the Teslas are also horrible for the environment. It's almost like we either have to go back in time or like stop progressing as much. So like, why do I bring another human to live this shit that is only
It's gonna
be
worse. Fine, man.
But hopefully it's fine, man. Yeah, global warming is a hoax.
It's gonna be fine.
Fuck it.
I think everybody's gonna just learn how to adapt with the process, and more things are just gonna be coming up out there. I don't know. Back then, they used to drink milk out of the cow. Like, they used to like wake up in the morning, go, and you know how many bacteria you get out of milk.
Actually, I used to do that.
Yeah, man.
And
why?
He said, what do you think?
Because it makes you stronger, man.
What happened to you? All right, let's do this. Let's end this podcast with a prediction.
You're gonna die.
I want to know, what do you think is gonna happen? Is Trump gonna get impeached? And if he does get impeached, what's gonna happen? What is gonna happen, guys? Go ahead, you start.
I think that the whistle. All right, so here's my general layout of what's gonna happen. Because Trump released this transcript, and he truly thinks this is the best thing to come out, and because it is so damning, I cannot imagine what is in that whistleblower complaint. Right? Because we haven't seen it yet. All we've seen is a transcript of the call, where he directly asks the president of Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden and his son.
So you're saying the complaint could go further than, hey, he tried to get Joe Biden's son in trouble?
Well, we know it does. We know it involves more than just that phone call.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but we don't know what. So
do you, so is it eventually the people is gonna know, or this is just something that's gonna be classified and nobody ever gonna know, or by law they have to share with everybody?
Well, that's the thing. By law, they do
have to share with everybody,
but they're not following the law.
Okay.
So, like,
so they should definitely get out of there and get killed for no.
Well, that's the thing. Like, when the president doesn't follow the law, what is the recourse to that?
Mm.
So they
continue with
but they thought about this before.
No, they
like, the president doesn't follow the law, the army should take over the Congress, and everything should be government by the army. right? Because it's a man coming over here, gonna do whatever he wants. Then the United States have an army, right?
He has an army. This up?
No, and the army, because it's the one that protects this country, is the one that's supposed to take head, right?
I mean, I hear you, but there's no.
That's not the law, bro.
There's no.
There is not the law.
There's no thing that says what you're saying.
Yes, there is. Like, if the government or the president is doing whatever the fuck he wants, then somebody like the measure, I don't know, who is the main guy from the army. No, it's not a thing. It's not. It doesn't work like that.
It does not work like that.
Maybe shit! In Argentina, it works like that. If the president starts doing whatever he wants, then the army takes over and be like, "Hey, you have to follow the law. If it's not, we got a government."
No, maybe that's just a mutiny. That's just like a. That is not the law, but that could happen. Like there could be an army mutiny.
The only recourse is impeachment. That's it. So
continue with your prediction.
No, okay. No, I guess everything is like, let's say they kill the president, they kill the vice president. What happens? Like, who's gonna be there?
Well, the next line in succession is Speaker of the House.
Speaker. Okay, so they threw a fucking atomic bomb right in D.C. They throw it right in D.C.
Is gonna get like FBI.
So there's a line of succession. There was an amendment passed to the Constitution that
eventually is gonna go to the army, right?
It eventually goes to the Postmaster General. Okay. So if you want the guy delivering your mail to be the president, that's.
No.
It doesn't really go to the Postmaster General.
Can I get to my prediction?
Yeah, can we let him finish his prediction, for God's sake?
Anyway.
You gotta hold this closer to your mouth.
Jeez.
God, you're killing me with the mic. Why'd you break the arm? You're not allowed to have a...
I'm about to impeach Martine.
All right,
go ahead. So my prediction is that I think this whistleblower complaint has a lot more damning information than people think. And I really do believe that a lot of Republicans are going to look at this complaint and say, shit, I, as an American citizen, cannot support a president that abuses his power in this way. There will also be a lot of Republicans that say, I'm a Republican. I'm going to support a Republican president. So my prediction is it's going to be close. I do think the House will vote to impeach. And I also think that it will be a very close vote in the Senate, but they will not vote to convict the president. I do not think that they will.
So what would happen? Nothing.
So in that situation, he would not be removed from office. No.
Okay. Fair enough. What do you have, Elias? What do you think is going to happen?
He's definitely not going to get impeached.
Put the fucking thing.
He's definitely not going to get impeached. He's going to be our president to the 4 years. Like next year, he's going to be the president for next year. He's going to be very close, or he might win the election again on 2020.
Yeah.
Is it at the end of 2020? He's going to be very close to win again. Or winning. Like, I don't just say he loses. He's not going to lose by, oh shit, he lost by a lot. He's going to be very close to win the election. Not because that's what I want to happen.
But that's what.
Because, I don't know, man. People are so, stupid in their head. They're probably going to go for him anyways. Too bad I can't vote, though.
Just because we're going to be able to go back to this, and if I happen to be right, it'll be cool. I'm going to go ahead and say that he is going to get impeached. That what you're saying, here's what I don't think that there's going to be much more to the investigation than what is already out. I don't think there's more. Yeah, he told the Ukrainian president, please investigate on this guy if you know what's good for you. If you want that's got to be it. What else could it be? But anyway, that should be enough. Okay, that should be enough. There's let's say they do impeach him, then there's going to be, well, first off, the vice president is a nut job. as well. What's his name?
Mike Pence.
Mike Pence.
My pants.
Yeah, Mike Pence. Mike Pence is also like a nut job, but there's gonna be a huge division, and there's gonna be people just fucking losing their minds. And hey, you know what's good is you're gonna be able to tell who those people are.
Man, Trump is gonna go right in the middle of the White House. He's like, I'm providing job for all of you right now. If you guys don't tell me who blow the whistle, I'm gonna get fired right now. Who blow the whistle? You're gonna get fired.
You're
I've
fired.
been providing this job
I
for
guarantee
you
you he's already done that, actually. I bet you he's already done some form of that.
By the way, earlier today, apparently an intern or whoever for the White House emailed all of the House Democrats the talking points for the White House on this issue.
What do you mean the talking
Let's
points?
find out who it was.
Well, we know because she's on the email. So, like, there was a whole bunch of people on Twitter that were like, well, she's out of a job.
Wait, the talking points? What do you mean?
So, basically, like, what the Republicans are going to be, like, their talking points on this phone call and, like, the transcript and everything.
So it's like giving headbacks. It's like, this is what you have to, like, prepare to answer this question or prepare to go
Right, this
back.
is what you have to say, and, like, this is what everyone needs to be on the same page about, so that way we're saying the same thing.
Oh, I see.
Right. It's just funny because it's like, obviously that was not supposed to be public, you know? And that they sent it to the Democrats.
It was an accident. It wasn't like an act of whistleblower.
Complete accident. It's like a listserv on the email that's like, you know, they
you got
want
the red list and the blue list. Oh, blue. Oh, shit! It was the red list.
Exactly. That's exactly how it happened. Yeah.
Yeah, poor girl. She's out of the job. She's so
And I looked her up on LinkedIn too, and I added her. On LinkedIn. She's like this very young girl, and I feel really bad because
she's fucking.
She just
ruined.
fucked up her career.
Yeah,
You might as well just go to the Democrats
you
right
know
now.
this is the worst day of her life.
Oh my god, dude, are you kidding me? That is worse than Melissa Merchant putting up dick pic on the Verizon thing.
Well,
That's
there
out
we
there.
go.
That's out there.
We started with penis. We finished with penis.
All right, guys, that was a lot better than I thought it was gonna go. I'm glad we made it through, guys. You fucking assholes who are still listening. We will see you next time. Hopefully, we are not at the verge of a nuclear destruction or a redneck revolt, whatever it might be. We will catch you next time. Bye bye.
What's your problem with rednecks, man?
I don't know, it's cool.
What's the problem?
Nothing.
I like camouflage clothes.